A very good morning. See, welcome to the biology class. Hope you all are fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yes. Children, in the last class, we discussed about the types of cells which are present in the blood and what is their importance and what is their function. Yes. We talked about the RBCs, we talked about WBCs, and we also talked about the blood platelets. Yes. Now, today, children, we are going to talk about the role of the blood or the functions of the blood, because of which the blood becomes very important. As you know that it is the red colored fluid that keeps flowing throughout our body system and it keeps us healthy. Yes, because of that we are able to survive. If once the circulation stop, it means that it is we are no more. Yes, so that is why blood is very important. We are going to talk about the functions and the role of the blood. The first one, it transports substances like digested food from the small intestine to the other parts of the body. The first very important thing, as I have already told you, that whatever digestion has taken place, yes, it ends in the first chapter. We have discussed that, sorry, in the second chapter we have discussed that it ends in the small intestine. So from there the digested food needs to be passed on to different body parts so that it can be utilized for what? For getting energy. Yes, so the transportation work is done by the blood, first one. Then second one is it carries the oxygen from the lungs to the each and every cell of the body. Again the same thing, that oxygen that we breathe in, it goes and it gets filled in the lungs. Now from the lungs, again, this oxygen is carried to all the parts of the body, all the cells in fact of the body. And this is again, this transportation is again done by the blood. So this is the second function of the blood. Third one, it also transports the waste for removal from the body cells to the parts where the waste are removed. So like when we'll be doing the excretory system, we'll be talking about the parts that help in the excretion. So from the body parts, from different body parts, it collects the waste material which has to be thrown out of the body and it passes it to the excretory organs. So this is the third function of the blood. Now the fourth function is that it has a mechanism to fight infection. If you remember the last class, we discussed about the WBCs, that they help in fighting the diseases, and because of the WBCs our immune system is so strong that we are safe, we are protected from the diseases, from falling sick. So the same way children, these the blood, because of the presence of the WBC, it also helps in the you can say self-protection mechanism or self-defense system. It forms the self-defense system. Then fifth one, it distributes heat uniformly all over the body. Now you know that the blood keeps circulating, it keeps moving, and this is how, as along with the movement, it circulates the heat also. So all the body parts, the whole body, it remains uniformly heated. Next and the last one, it saves its own loss by clotting. If you remember functions of the platelet, it was the clotting, that so as to avoid the excessive loss of the blood. It was avoided. How it was avoided, the excessive loss of blood? Because of the self plugging. It forms a layer, the platelets, they form a layer from on the wound or on the cut. Yes, and because of that the loss of the blood or the excessive loss of the blood is what? Avoided. It does not take place because of the platelets. They form a layer, they form a plug. Any confusion in the functions, children?
Ma'am, third point.
Third point, the transport of the waste material.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now see children, as each and every, the initial class when I told you about the cell, I told you about the organization of the body. I gave you a chart also, if you remember. That's how our body is made of. So the lowest level is the cell. So each and every cell, as each and every cell needs oxygen, as each and every cell needs food, yes, for getting energy, the same way each and every cell removes and gives out the waste material. Now this waste material is again collected by the blood as it is moving all over the body. So it takes the waste material and it makes and it throws it to the excretory organs. It passes on it to the excretory organs so that it can be expelled out of the body later by the excretory organs. So this is the way, this way it also helps in transportation of the waste material. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next topic is blood vessels. Now, blood vessels are the containers. Yes, and our body, children, is not a packet. It's not a packet like it's not a polythene packet in which you open the cap and you put the blood and you just put the lid again. It's not like that. Our body, it has some pipe-like structures, and in those pipe-like structures, this blood keeps moving or flowing. So we need to understand that it's not like our body is it's just filled with blood and everywhere liters of blood is filled and just locked. It's not like that. It flows in closed containers, in closed vessels, in closed pipes, and these pipes, they help in the proper movement of the blood all through the body. The circulation takes place. So these vessels, these pipes, these containers, they are called blood vessels as the blood keeps flowing in them. Fine, children. And of course, they have proper walls so that the blood can easily flow through them. Yes, like simply you can understand, like when you water the plant, sometimes you use the plastic pipes. Yes, when you have to you have to water different pots which are present in your garden. So you use long pipe, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So those pipes, children, yes, those pipes, children, you can say, understand, you can resemble them with the blood vessels present in our body. Fine. Now, the blood vessels of three types, that is the arteries, capillaries, and veins. So, arteries and capillaries, children, you need to understand that in arteries and capillaries, the pure blood, the oxygenated blood flows, and in the veins, blue blood, you can say, or the deoxygenated blood flows. Now, deoxygenated blood means the blood that is coming back from all the body parts. It has collected the carbon dioxide in other ways and it has to go to the heart for purification. The same way, the other one which has taken the oxygen, which has received the oxygen, that has to go to the other body parts. Yes, so as they can take the energy from it, they can take the food, they can utilize the food from that. So oxygenated blood and we have deoxygenated blood or oxygen rich blood, and the other one is the carbon dioxide rich blood. So in which does the oxygenated blood flows?
Ma'am, arteries.
Yes. And in which one does the deoxygenated blood flows?
Ma'am, in pulmonary artery.
In veins. I just told you. Do not read much so that you don't say pulmonary artery. It's not pulmonary, it's pulmonary. And I'll tell you about that. Whatever I teach, understand that first. So that step by step you understand and you learn. Fine. So in veins, which blood? All of you, class 7C, quickly. In veins?
Ma'am, deoxygenated blood.
Yes. And in arteries, all of you, put your speakers on.
Ma'am, oxygenated blood.
Only one. Shall I call you by
Oxygenated.
name? Next time I ask the answer, I want it from everyone. Otherwise, remember, I'm going to complain about this. When you sit for the class, you have to answer, you have to participate in the class. Otherwise, don't join. If you're not interested, you can study yourself, don't join the class, please. Once you are here for the class, you have to listen, you have to answer. That is the way. Fine. So, now children, we understand. Now let's talk about the arteries. These blood vessels carry blood away from the heart. That means the blood which has got purified. Now from the heart, it has to go to the rest of the body parts. Yes. And so that is away from the heart, not towards the heart, but away from the heart to all the parts of the body. Generally now, as I have told you that arteries carry the oxygenated blood and veins carry the deoxygenated blood. But there is an exception and this can be asked in your fill in the blanks in your exams or in objective questions that which artery carries deoxygenated blood. Generally we see arteries carry oxygenated blood, but there is an exception. There's an artery that carries the deoxygenated blood. So which one is it? It is pulmonary artery. All of you put your speakers on quickly. Put your speakers on. Yes, all of you put your speakers on quickly. I'm waiting. Diksha Gupta, Nusra Furkan, quickly put your speaker on. Aranya Minch. Yes. Now tell me which artery carries the deoxygenated blood? Of all of you speak together.
Pulmonary artery.
Pulmonary arteries.
Pulmonary
Yeah,
artery.
ma'am, pulmonary
Pulmonary.
arteries.
Yes. That's better. So pulmonary artery is the only artery that carries the deoxygenated blood. Now it carries the blood from the heart to the lungs because it has to go for purification and it has to get the oxygen. Now children, why I am asking these questions again and again, because once people talk about the working of the heart, you should know this. If you don't know this, then you won't be able to understand that. So just don't think that this is like that, let it go like that. It's not like that, please. This is important. You understand it once and then you understand the functioning and the working of the heart, which is actually important and a little technical also to understand. So following is important. Keep following what I tell. So during inhalation, turn the page, page number 126. During inhalation, a fresh supply of oxygen fills the lungs like this. And the lungs get filled with the oxygen. Yes, now blood carried by the pulmonary artery receives oxygen from here, gets purified and returns to the heart through pulmonary vein. So now here pulmonary vein is carrying the oxygenated blood. Actually it should contain deoxygenated blood, but again this is an exception. Pulmonary vein is an exception and it carries the pure blood to the heart. The rest of the arteries carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to all the parts of the body since the blood flow of the heart is rapid and at high pressure. Now again children need to understand one thing, as I've just given you an example, that the blood vessels in which the blood flows in our body, they are pipe-like. Yes, and generally you use the pipe that you use to water the plant. What material is it made up of? What is it made of? The pipe that you use. A simple question.
Ma'am, rubber.
Yes, very good. Who is it? Sweet. Ishita, very good. Good girl. Anyone else? What else? It is rubber or it is?
Ma'am, plastic.
Yes, very good. It's rubber or it is plastic? Now, my question is that why can't we use simple polythene, these polythenes that we get material from the market in? Why can't we use that polythene to make that pipe? Whoever answers will be the intelligent one. I have received answers, so many answers from 7th B. Many children give the answer. Same thing, same question. Why can't we use the polythene? Do you understand the polythene bags that in which we get the daily material? Why can't we use that polythene to make the pipe? We can use that material. Why can't we use? Why don't we use? Anyone? Give it a try at least.
Ma'am, because polythene bag is made up of plastic.
So, so what? We
Ma'am,
cannot use the. Yes, anyone else?
ma'am,
Correct. Yes. Yes.
ma'am, they are not strong.
Very good. It's not absolutely correct, but your the logic behind it is correct. See, they just look at the material. If you when the water starts moving through that polythene pipe, yes, what can happen? It can rupture at certain points because the water is going to move at a high speed, isn't it? So it needs to be moving through the material which is thick. And that is why we use rubber and plastic because they are thicker. Even if the water is moving at a high speed, it is not going to rupture the pipe. Yes, the water will not start coming out from here and there. Yes. So that is why we use thick material. And the same way children, since That is what I wanted to tell you actually, because of which I asked this question. If you read the last line, since the blood flow from the heart is rapid and at high pressure, the arteries have thick wall, the walls of the arteries. Yes, the pipe, the arteries that we are talking about, in which the oxygenated blood flows, they have thick wall. Their walls are thick, elastic and muscular. Elastic so that they can, if supposing if the blood is moving at a very high speed, it can even change its shape. Yes, they are little elastic. So this is about the arteries. Any problem in this? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next is children. Just do one thing. We are going to do an activity, simple activity. Just keep your hand like this, like this. All of you put your hand like this. Yes. Now, these your fingers of the other hand will be here, and your thumb will be here. Place your thumb here. Press it a little. Are you able to observe? Are you able to feel some movement, some jerky movement? Observe the position. It's here. You can change the position here
Yes,
and
ma'am.
there. Those who are able to observe, only they will say yes. Rest of you don't say
Yes,
yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you able to feel?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
There is some
Yes,
this
ma'am.
type of movement, up and down, jerk movement. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, yes, very good. So this is what we call as pulse. Yes, and you must have observed a phenomena. You must have seen in movies and serials also. And many of the time the doctors come and they say, no, ab kuch nahi ho sakta. Yes, they observe like this and then they say like this. So actually they observe, the doctors, they observe the pulse rate. When they touch your wrist, it's not that they are trying to touch and feel the temperature. They actually try to understand the pulse rate, that what is the pulse rate of your body at that particular time, because this tells that we are normal or we are not. Yes, your pulse rate should be normal. So in 1 minute, children, your pulse, this movement should range between 70 to 100. Yes, ideally it is 72, it should range between 70 to 100. If it is lower, then it is a matter that of course there's some problem with you, and if it is higher, then of course there's some problem. Yes, and then you need consultation. Or sometimes it's because of hypertension, because of some problem, if you keep thinking, this may happen. So the jerky movement in the wrist is called the pulse. It is caused by the alternate contraction and expansion in the walls of the arteries that I just told you. Yes, the contraction and the relaxation takes place, because of which the blood is able to move, and this is because this pulse is generated. The number of jerks per minute is called the pulse rate. A normal person usually has a pulse rate between 70 to 100 per minute. The average value in an adult is taken out at 72. Now, one more thing, children, that this pulse rate also varies depending upon the type of activity that you are doing. If you are taking rest, if you're just sitting normally, or you're lying down and you're sleeping, at that time your pulse rate will go a little down. Yes, it is normal. And when you're doing heavy exercise, you're running, you're cycling, yes, you're whatever exercise if you're doing, in that case the pulse rate goes a little higher. So that is the last slide. The capillaries join up, sorry, the average value is 72 times per minute while resting, and higher after strenuous exercise if you have done. So it's like that. So this is how we have covered today, children. We have talked about arteries. You are going to revise this. You are going to learn the topic that I have told, because any day I have told you I can take surprise test without any prior information. So read about it. And the second thing is, 1 minute you will just sit in one room where you don't find anyone, quietly, and you will just take the stopwatch or your mobile, whatever. You will take the count for 1 minute. How many times does this pulse you can feel, or how many times you can feel the jerk? Yes, You will note it down in your book as it is, so that you don't say that, ma'am, I've forgotten. And then I'll ask anyone I can ask, and you will tell that what was your pulse rate. Okay. So this is how, children, we have come to the end of our class. Do the homework. If you find any problem, please inform me. Till we meet again, take care of yourselves. Bye bye, children.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.